Hello and welcome to Calamity News and Politics podcast for this week, Fight Vlog. It's Dave again, and I got a little bit of a smile on my face, and it's of course because right now things are going very well in the elections, and it looks like Joe Biden is the president-elect, and we're not going to have to worry about things with Donald Trump. However, let's talk about Trump's gone, so what's next? Well, I think the first thing that we need to talk about is what actually happened in the election. There was no blue wave. Everybody thought that there was going to be this huge tidal wave of Democratic voters coming out. Well, it happened. But there was also a very large group of conservative Republicans who voted that didn't vote in the last election. So what we saw was Trump did not win the election. However, we didn't get the big Democratic sweep that we thought we would. It's my opinion, and I could be wrong. I think that a lot of Republicans went in to vote, and they said, I don't want 4 more years of Donald Trump. This is crap. And they just didn't vote for a president. They didn't want to vote Democrat because they're not Democrats. They didn't have another candidate they could vote for, so they just didn't vote. They voted for everything else. They continued to be Republicans. So what's next? How can liberals, Democrats move on from here and have a much smoother go of it in the next election? I think that the choices made were very good. Biden and Harris are both centrists. They're not really super far left. They're people that have ideas that even conservatives can embrace. People who are unfamiliar with Kamala Harris's work as Attorney General in California, she's a very conservative jurist. She sends a lot of people to jail. She's no BS. Okay, this is not some soft on crime woman. So we've got people that can reach across the aisle and bring more people to the Democratic Party. Obviously, again, we're not talking about the radical right or the radical left. We're talking about people who are in the middle. And when I talk to people who are Trump supporters, there are a few things that they get angry about, or that they want the Democratic Party to represent them. Now, first of all, is that they want someone to stand up to the bullies. Okay? They like Trump because Trump's the guy in class who, happily told the guy who thought he was cool that he was not. He insulted him, he made fun of him, called him Little Rocket Man, whatever. So, the idea that we need to stand up to bullies is something that a lot of people feel is one of Trump's best qualities. So we need to focus on making sure that we look strong in the world. And I think in a lot of ways, Biden is going to make us look stronger. Despite all the stuff with China and Burisma in, Russia and Ukraine and all of that, I feel they're mostly political things that are going to go away now that the election is over. Okay, so now the second thing is racism. A lot of Trump supporters are angry because with Trump's rhetoric, they feel like they're being branded unfairly as racist. And one of the reasons for that is they have a different concept on racism than we do. And that's the fact that there's a lot of white black people out there. Okay? Back in the day, Calamity was just saying this, you remember with gay people, let's just stomp all over gay people's rights until all of a sudden, hey, that's Uncle Bob that they're talking about. Well, that's what's happening here. A lot of young people are like, what are you talking about? My best friend is half black. How can I be racist? My friend is Mexican, and he's a Trump supporter too. My friend is Filipino. they don't recognize the racism because they don't look at it the same way we do. To them, most black people have so much white in them, even if they're not white on the outside. Their mom is, and so you get a lot of that coming from Trump supporters. So we need to make sure that we understand that a lot of these people are not racist. Trump may not be their cup of tea all the way across the board. There are things that they like about him and the things they don't. Also, a lot of them honestly believe there isn't racism in America. They really think that it's gone away because, like I said, there are so many interracial couples now. So personally, I think that's a good thing, and we should definitely work getting those people there. Now, the final one, and it's always going to be the hardest, because sometimes it's based on imaginary facts and feelings. And this is that their taxes are being misspent, right? They're out there working their butts off, and because most of these people have a job, and they don't like paying taxes unless they have to. I think that's true for any of us. However, there's a lot of BS propaganda out there about who the poor are, who people collecting food stamps are. Things that are done to make it look like 98% of the people are fraudulent when it's actually the other way around. And boys and girls who know me, I worked at the probation department. I did community service restitution. Yeah, I was the guy who made you go pick up trash on the highway, okay? And I can tell you exactly where people who cheat on welfare and food stamps are. They're on probation. Because the system is designed not to be defrauded. There's like a 1 to 2% fraud rate, and of that rate, almost 100% of those morons end up on probation. They don't get their benefits for 3 years. So we need to bring into focus things like that. Also, the same thing with like Medicaid and Medicare. They think that this is some handout that you're giving to a bunch of drug addicts. We have to change their perception, because the people who oppose liberal politics don't want to help people. They don't want to pay for the mentally ill. They don't want to pay for sick people. Why should they? It's their money. They made it. So we've got to change the perception of who the people who are receiving benefits are. It's not some guy who's surfing every day and smoking weed that's getting food stamps, okay? It's guys who had a massive heart attack and can't return to work and are fighting for disability. It's my mother before she moved to assisted living. She needed a little help with her food every month. She got like $1,200. So we just have to change the perception of who's getting the money and really point out how small the fraud is, because a lot of this is propaganda. It's like the old days, nobody wanted to join the Volar Army back in the 70s. Well, now they made it a great big thing. We're training, we're going to give you a career. They turned it around, and we can do the same thing. We need to turn around perceptions to bring these people into a more reasonable position on how life should be run. So I guess the other thing is that while a lot of liberals tend to look at Republicans as very, very rich people manipulating other people, by the same token, they feel that we're rich and out of touch, that liberals are rich and out of touch. They see the Hollywood elite getting themselves involved in politics, and they're like, what does a dancer know? What does an actor know about my problems? They've got tons of money. So I think that the next 4 years should be spent appealing to things that make people who are conservative more comfortable. Obviously, we got to fight them tooth and nail on a lot of other things, because, they're just wrong, damn it. They're just wrong. Well, you have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye now.